Welcome to my world. Come on in and make yourselves at home. Welcome to my life. I know everything's gonna be all right. Welcome to my world. Oh, won't you come on in? Welcome to my life. It's known as the Tiger's Den. Greetings to all of my subscribers. I want to thank you for being with me for as long as you have, and the new subscribers that's coming on in. We want to say greetings and thank you for your time. This is from Toothless and the moderators. Welcome to the Tiger's Den. Justice for CJ, a son, brother, father, uncle. Up drove the hearse Cadillac. A crowd of people gathered around, all dressed in black. And as they removed his body from the car, Such pain she never knew has filled her heart. It happened on an early Saturday morning when the noise from the phone really disturbed her. She wasn't too sure at first just what the caller meant when they informed her that there had been an incident. Why, oh why, the sound of a mother's cry as she gathered herself and wiped the tears from her eyes. Somebody asked who was the next of kin. But oh Lord, it was the beginning of her end. March 17th, 2018. CJ will forever be 22 years young. Justice for CJ. Greetings and welcome to the Tiger's Den. This is the voice of Cheryl, and I am Toothless Tiger. We have a lot to cover tonight, but I want to start out by showing my t-shirt in support of Charleston and Dewberry. Just do it. I want to start it off by talking about them for a quick minute because, as we know, the internet is just going crazy over a comedy show that Charleston had last night, and it was some type of incident that took place. I want to say it's a beautiful thing that they made it out safe and alive. I say that because just 9 days ago, Charleston and Cam Newton made history. In less than a day, he took Cam from 900,000 subscribers over to 1 million. They went from no one looking at the video to 1 million point two in one day. For that reason, I think it merits us speaking on just how troubling it is. Just like this person who comes in with Asatar's picture on their avatar. It is really amazing the things that people do. So we can expect a lot of craziness tonight. I was in Dewberry's chat, and I had someone that I believe is a Chihuahua who ran over a dog and killed it. I believe that person was in there, trolling me. Had nothing to do with me, but that's what they do. These people are really sad. But we have some real life issues, and that's what we're going to talk about. Real life issues. We have a young lady, 15, that was busted in the nose, put in the hospital, and no one seems to want to talk about that. We have a young man, while changing his tire, was tased and he had a plethora of charges put against him just for changing a tire. And of course, he's Asiatic. And then we have Asiatic males here on this platform where we have an opportunity to make a difference in our lives. That's what Charleston and Dewberry are doing. And they're making money while they're doing it. But they're changing lives. The world saw Charleston because 9 days later, that video is at 4.8 million views. and everybody is talking about it. It bears watching. It was a very good interview, and you'll get to know a little bit about who Charleston is and why he operates the way he operates. But we're going to start off with the Kybalion, and we're going to be on rhythm. I'm just going to read the one chapter because, like I said, I have some videos I want y'all to see, and I'd like for us to have a healthy adult discussion. I thank everybody for being here, and I want to welcome you for being here. Maria, always. Brianna Smith, it's so good to see you. Nafai, it's so good to see you again. Phyllis, glad you're here. I know your Cowboys are on. Asatar, our new content creator who's breaking the internet. He may not have the millions of views, but he certainly has the support of the people. And I want to congratulate you, Asatar. I'm so happy for you. And no better time that you could have done this than such a time as this, because you have a lot to offer and a lot to say. Sci-Fi, I'm so glad to see you. I enjoyed you and so Alicia last week. And at any time, you just tell me to drop the link and I'll be more than happy to do so, because you have so much to give and so much to offer. And I appreciate you for choosing my platform to visit and to share. And all of you all that's in the bushes, in the trees, in the clouds, in the sky, on the beach, on the boat, wherever you may be, I want to welcome you and thank you for coming. And everybody laugh and talk about the little people that are in my chat. But we are people who care about people. And we want to see some changes. All it takes is one. All it takes is one. And then they tell two friends. And so on and so on. So with no further ado, I'm going to go off camera. I just wanted to start out letting you guys see me and letting you know that I'm standing in solidarity with Charleston and Dewberry. I think they did a beautiful job by coming home alive. It could have been worse. It could have even been a play. But whatever it was, in my mind, they came home safe. Charleston is making a difference. And I don't know if he would play with his life at a time like this, when he's getting the attention of everybody who wouldn't listen when he talks like a regular human being like myself. We know people are not interested in this type of content. They just want to laugh or cry at somebody else's pain. And that's unfortunate. We should be able to do it all. And I'm not able to give them what they want on this platform. It's too important to me and it's too big. So I have to just take what I can get and be so very grateful for it. And you guys are worth it. And I thank you for spending your time with me. So here we go. I'm going off camera as always when I read. And we're going to handle the Kybalion. Chapter 9, Rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. The Kybalion. The great fifth Hermetic principle, the principle of rhythm, embodies the truth that in everything there is manifested a measured motion, a to and a from movement, a flow and an inflow, a swing forward and backward, a pendulum-like movement, a tide-like ebb and flow, a high tide and a low tide. Between the two poles manifest on the physical, mental, or spiritual planes. The principle of rhythm is closely connected with the principle of polarity described in the preceding chapter. Rhythm manifests between the two poles established by the principle of polarity. This does not mean, however, that the pendulum of rhythm swings to the extreme poles, but this rarely happens. In fact, it is difficult to establish the extreme polar opposites in the majority of cases, but the swing is ever toward first one pole and then the other. There is always an action and a reaction, an advance and a retreat, a rising and a sinking, manifested in all of the airs and phenomena of the universe. Suns, worlds, men, animals, plants, minerals, forces, energy, mind, and matter, yes, even spirit, manifests this principle. The principle manifests in the creation and destruction of worlds, in the rise and fall of nations, in the life history of all things, and finally, in the mental states of man. Beginning with the manifestation of spirit of the all, it will be noticed that there is ever the outpouring and the indrawing, the outbreathing and the inbreathing of Brahm, as the Brahmins word it. Universes are created, reach their extreme low point of materiality, and then begin in their upward swing. Sun springs into being, and then their height of power being reached, the process of retrogression begins, and after eons, they become dead mass of matter, awaiting another impulse, which starts again their inner energies into activity, and a new solar life cycle is begun. And thus, it is with all the worlds they are born, grow and die, only to be reborn. And thus, it is with all the things of shape and form they swing from action to reaction, from birth to death, from activity to inactivity, and then back again. Thus, it is with all living things they are born, grow, and die, and then are reborn. So it is with all great movements, philosophies, creeds, fashions, governments, nations, and all else birth, growth, maturity, decadence, death, and then new birth. The swing of the pendulum is ever in evidence. Hey, so Alicia. Night follows day, and day night. The pendulum swings from summer to winter, and then back again. The corpuscles, atoms, molecules, and all masses of matter swing around the circle of their nature. There is no such thing as absolute rest or cessation from movement, and all movement partakes of rhythm. The principle is of universal application. It may be applied to any question, a phenomena of any of the many planes of life. It may be applied to all phases of human activity. There is always the rhythmic swing from one pole to the other. The universal pendulum is ever in motion. The tides of life flow in and out according to law. The principle of rhythm is well understood by modern science and is considered a universal law as applied to material things. But the Hermetists carry the principle much further and know that its manifestations and influence extend to the mental activities of man, and that it accounts for the bewildering succession of moods, feelings, and other annoying and perplexing changes that we notice in ourselves. But the Hermetists, by studying the operations of this principle, have learned to escape some of its activities by transmutation. The Hermetic master long since discovered that while the principle of rhythm was invariable and ever in evidence in mental phenomena, still there were two planes of its manifestation, so far as mental phenomena are concerned. They discovered that there were two general planes of consciousness, the lower and the higher, the understanding of which fact enabled them to rise to the higher plane and thus escape the swing of the rhythmic pendulum which manifests on the lower plane. In other words, the swing of the pendulum occurred on the unconscious plane, and the consciousness was not affected. This they call the law of neutralization. Its operation consists in the raising of the ego above the vibrations of the unconscious plane of mental activity, so that the negative swing of the pendulum is not manifested in consciousness, and therefore they are not affected. It is akin to rising above a thing and letting it pass beneath you. The Hermetic master or advanced student polarizes himself at the desired pole, and by a process akin to refusing to participate in the backward swing, or, if you prefer, a denial of its influence over him. He stands firm in his polarized position and allows the mental pendulum to swing back along the unconscious plane. All individuals who have attained any degree of self-mastery accomplish this, more or less unknowingly, and by refusing to allow their moods and negative mental states to affect them, they apply the law of neutralization. The master, however, carries this to a much higher degree of proficiency, and by the use of his will, he attains a degree of poise and mental firmness almost impossible of belief on the part of those who allow themselves to be swung backward and forward by the mental pendulum of moods and feelings. Hi, Izetta, good to see you. The importance of this will be appreciated by any thinking person who realize what creatures of moods, feelings, and emotion the majority of the people are, and how little mastery of themselves they manifest. If you will stop and consider a moment, you will realize how much these swings of rhythm have affected you in your life, how a period of enthusiasm has been invariably followed by an opposite feeling and mood of depression. Likewise, your moods and periods of courage have been succeeded by equal moods of fear. And so it has ever been with the majority of the persons. Tides of feeling have even risen and fallen with them, but they have never suspected the cause or reason of the mental phenomena. An understanding of the workings of this principle will give one the key to the mastery of these rhythmic swings of feeling, and will enable him to know himself better and to avoid being carried away by these inflows and outflows. The will is superior to the conscious manifestation of this principle, although the principle itself can never be destroyed. We may escape its effects, but the principle operates nevertheless. The pendulum ever swings, although we may escape being carried along with it. There are other features of the operation of the principle of rhythm of which we wish to speak at this point. There comes into its operations that which is known as the law of compensation. One of the definitions or meanings of the word compensate is to counterbalance, which is the sense in which the Hermeticists use the term. It is the law of compensation to which the Kybalion refers when it says, the measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. The law of compensation is that the swing in one direction determines the swing in the opposite direction, or to the opposite pole, the one balances or counterbalances the other. On the physical plane, we see many examples of this law. The pendulum of the clock swings a certain distance to the right and then an equal distance to the left. The seasons balance each other in the same way. The tides follow the same law, and the same law is manifested in all the phenomena of rhythm. The pendulum with a short swing in one direction has but a short swing in the other, while the long swing to the right invariably means the long swing to the left. An object hurled upward to a certain height has an equal distance to traverse on its return. The force with which a projectile is sent upward, a mile is reproduced when the projectile returns to the earth on its return journey. This law is constant on the physical plane, as reference to the standard authorities will show you. Hey, Lazy Bone, good to see you. But the Hermetics carry it still further. They teach that a man's mental states are subject to the same law. The man who enjoys keenly is subject to keen suffering. One moment. Okay. Can you guys hear me pretty good? Because sometime I may hit this thing and go into mute, but I hope y'all can hear me pretty good. Okay, let me see. The pig suffers but little mentally and enjoys but little. He is compensated. And on the other hand, there are other animals who enjoy keenly, but whose nervous organisms and temperament cause them to suffer exquisite degrees of pain. And so it is with man. There are temperaments which permit of but low degrees of enjoyment and equally low degrees of suffering, while there are others which permit the most intense enjoyment, but also the most intense suffering. The rule is that the capacity for pain and pleasure in each individual are balanced. The law of compensation is in full operation here. But the Hermeticist goes still further in this matter. They teach that before one is able to enjoy a certain degree of pleasure, he must have swung as far proportionately toward the other pole of feeling. They hold, however, that the negative is precedent to the positive in this matter. That is to say, that in experiencing a certain degree of pleasure, it does not follow that he will have to pay up for it with a corresponding degree of pain. On the contrary, the pleasure is the rhythmic swing, according to the law of compensation, for a degree of pain previously experienced either in present life or in previous incarnation. This throws a new light on the problem of pain. Hey, Regina M. The Hermetics regard the chain of life of lives as continuous and as forming a part of one life of the individual, so that in consequence the rhythmic swing is understood in this way, while it would be without meaning unless the truth of reincarnation is admitted. But the Hermetics claim that the master or advanced student is able to a great degree to escape the swing toward pain by the process of neutralization before mentioned. By rising on to the higher plane of the ego, much of the experience that comes to those dwelling on the lower plane is avoided and escaped. The law of compensation plays an important part in the lives of men and women. It will be noticed that one generally pays the price of anything he possesses or lacks. If he has one thing, he lacks another. The balance is struck. No one can keep his penny and have the bit of cake at the same time. Everything has its pleasant and unpleasant sides. The things that one gains are always paid for by the things that one loses. The rich possess much that the poor lack, while the poor often possess things that are beyond the reach of the rich. The millionaire may have the inclination toward feasting, and the wealth wherewith to secure all the dainties and luxuries of the table, while he lacks the appetite to enjoy the same. He envies the appetite and digestion of the laborer who lacks the wealth and inclination of the millionaire, and who gets more pleasure from his plain food than the millionaire could obtain even if his appetite were not jaded, nor his digestion ruined. For the wants, habits, and inclinations differ. And so it is through life. The law of compensation is ever in operation, striving to balance and counterbalance, and always succeeding in time, even though several lives may be required for the return swing of the pendulum of rhythm. And therein lies the chapter of rhythm. And I said that that was chapter 9, but actually that was looked like chapter 11. And so our next chapter we'll go to will be cause. It's called causation, but we won't do causation tonight. We're just going to go with rhythm because I want to share these stories with you guys. As I stated a little bit earlier when I started, what happened with Charleston this weekend, it just goes to show you where we are and what state we're in here in America. Here we have a man who's brought himself up through the YouTube, and now he's doing things that's unimaginable, reaching people that most of us will never reach, teaching children, learning from his past mistakes, and putting what he's learned to use. And here two young men want to come to the show and destroy the show for everybody. Then we have in one state a young lady just trying to go to school. She's a junior high student. They may even consider them high students, high school. But all she's trying to do is go to school. And of course, the school is interracial. And then that's the first story that we're going to look at to see how this young lady was treated. Now, I was going to do the article, but I'm not going to do the article. I'm using a couple of Roland Martin's videos tonight to show y'all what is going on and why we should be concerned, especially if we say the children are our future. Then we must really pay attention and let's see. Maybe we won't get anybody to do anything. But if we don't discuss it, if we don't put it out there, if nobody sees it, then certainly we can't get anybody to do anything. But a lot of these children are standing up and fighting. And if y'all don't know, that's how they got us with the civil rights movement. They didn't go to the adults, they went to the children. And that's how a lot of things happened. And we thought that we were getting rights that were due us, unalienable rights, unalienable rights. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. And we have to all come to grips with that. We have more laws in place that keeps us in a certain position. What are we going to do about it? We got to learn something different and do something different. It's not about what you say. We all can say. It's about what you do. The herd is swayed by what you say, and they follow the leader. But an individual who thinks independent and who can hear and who can see and who have rationale and discernment, then you can know, just like rhythm just told us, you got to feel the pain before you can even enjoy the pleasure. But you have a choice in the matter and how you choose to deal with it. You know, my brother used to tell me about when you find out somebody, have passed in your family. It's not the death itself that gets you. It's your knowledge of the death and how you respond. Because I don't know if you all, if this happened to any of you all, some people will see people they haven't seen in years, and they asked about one of your family members who's been gone for years. They had no feeling, no idea. They were really happy, wanting to hear a report about them. And the moment you tell them that they're no longer with us, then the person will break down because of the relationship that they had with that person and cry. They didn't feel any of that until they got the knowledge and chose to respond that way. And a lot of us don't think that we really have choices. We just say, I'm just like that. No, you're not. Let's learn the behavior, whatever behavior you have. And if you learn the behavior, and if it's not a good behavior, you can unlearn behavior. A lot of the conditions we're in, it's not we're just in this condition. No, it's written 100 years in advance on how we're going to be. It's up to us. We're having babies every day, and these babies are coming here geniuses. But we keep allowing them to get the same treatment that we've received. We've got to learn to think outside of the box and do something different. We've got to do that if we really believe that the children are our future. We've got to get a hold to these 7 Hermetic principles and let them start operating in our lives. And we're not going to get it all at one hearing, one setting. I found the YouTube audiobook. And I think Maria is going to put it in the chat if she hasn't already, where you can go and listen and take notes and stop it and look up words. It's so much we've missed, but we can get it back. Now, if you're like me, there are some things you just can't do alone. Get you a partner, get you a friend, introduce them to it, or a family, and introduce them to something different, something new. They may want to participate, they may not want to participate, but at least give them the opportunity. I want to thank everybody for hitting the like button. It's very important, and I appreciate that. So we're going to go to our first video, and I've already sped it up. This comes from, again, Roland Martin's page, and it's the Black Star is who got this story. And I want y'all to hear this story, listen to it, and this is how wrong it is being Asiatic and attending public school. And I say that in sarcasm in the way that we're being treated. So let me do this. And I'm sharing this under fair use. It's a 2-minute video. And thank you so very much, Alicia. I appreciate you so much for putting that in there. This is under fair use, and I have it scrolling as well. But I want us to just see what our babies are dealing with. And we say that they're our future, and we're not doing anything, in my opinion, to help their situation. So tell me what you guys think. Here we go. Although Ash said he think long as you give credit, it's all right. I'm just going to turn up the music. I don't know if you guys have been able to catch Ash's videos, but he's been dynamic. He's been blowing it out the box. And it's been fun to watch. For me, especially. Okay, here we go. I think I should make it big for you guys, though. Okay, black student victim of racial slurs, broken nose at the hand of white male. And this is Roland Martin, who got this exclusive from Black Star.
A black sophomore named Brianna Brown was the target of a racial slur and physical attack by another student at Shawnee Mission East in Kansas. Brown had confronted a separate student about using racial slurs, and moments later, a white male student told her to shut the F up and proceeded to yell more racial slurs at her.
Don't say nothing unless you're going to come to my face, because I'm not going to do it with you. Man, shut the fuck up. Oh, who's that? Me. What? What? Nigga, what? What? What is that? Hey, somebody come get this. You swung first. You swung first. You swung first. What the fuck are you calling a nigga? What the fuck are you calling a nigga? Oh, I'm going down. I'm going down.
The altercation led to a physical fight that left Brown with a broken nose and suspended from school. Brown sat down with KSHB to describe the ordeal.
Either I protect myself or I run away from it, or I get beat up and I don't know what else to do. So I chose to stand up for myself.
It really hurt my heart and made me mad. It hurt my heart for my daughter because I didn't want her to ever.
Shawnee Mission East students organized a walkout protest demanding justice for their classmate and expressing their frustrations with the district's handling of the incident. The Shawnee Mission School District provided a statement saying that they take proactive measures to create a safe educational environment for all students and that they respond to mistakes made by students in an equitable and consistent manner. And for more news, follow the Black Star Network, serving Black America and inspiring action. Black Star Network, your source of Black news.
So now tell me, y'all, what y'all think about that. Because I can tell you the beautiful thing about this story that I seen is that the students of all races walked out in protest in how the young lady was treated. Because after getting her nose broken and going into the hospital, she actually was suspended for 5 days. Now, they were not told what happened to the young man, although some of the students told the news reporters that they were told this young man was suspended. But did you see how big he was over her? Hey, B-Man the Killer, how you doing? Thank you for coming by for the support. I greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. I'm like you, Alicia. That's how I felt. And I thank Maria for sharing this story with me. She finds some of the greatest stories. And then she puts me in a mood to step up my game to help find stories. You know, I tried my very best in the beginning to kind of let us know who we are, where we come from, the things we need to start doing. And one of the things we must start doing is studying history and law. If we do nothing else, we need to study them together. so we can understand how they work. And these 7 Hermetic principles will help you understand the basis of law. Because law comes from who? The one that everyone calls God. And it has to be a balance. But I like this definition of the all. It's no him or her. It's just the all. And all are in the mind of the all. And the all is in us. Not that I don't know the word, I share it. Because it's very important. It's real truth. But it's also allegory. It's also parables. It's a tool for learning and teaching. You know, we all say that children don't come with the book. That's not always true. We have a book, of laws and of principles, of values and morals, of rights and wrongs. And then we as individuals have to make decisions. But that was such a horrific situation that took place there at that school. But I do know that since that happened, that young man, after those kids protested, and like I said, it was children, had nothing to do with color, I would say. It was humans coming together saying, this is not right. This isn't fair. And we want to do something about it. We can't allow this to happen at our school. They said that they've been having a lot of racial tensions, and this is in Shawnee Mission, Kansas. I'm not familiar with Kansas, but it doesn't seem like it's, a poor community. But there is an article and the article I already said I'll allow ads. I guess you got to do it every time. Yeah, I'm reading this article for entertainment and education purposes. This is the Kansas City, Kansas Star. And that's why I kind of like to always go and you can see the students there. I don't know if y'all can see it or not. Y'all may not be able to see it, but the students were protesting. Oh, that's a different protest. We don't want to see that one. That's a different protest. And what I'll do is I'll allow this to tell us the story.
It is still unclear what punishment the white, male student, who yelled the N-word and started the fight when he pushed the girl, received. A few students told the Star he also was suspended. The district has declined to provide details on how it has responded to the incident, or any punishment issued, citing student privacy issues. Outrage has continued to grow as students and parents call the attack a hate crime and plead with school leaders to take stronger action. That young lady was the victim of a hate crime, and it should be treated as such, said Anisha Jackson, a parent of a now graduated Shawnee Mission student, who has been active pushing for change in the district. She was protecting herself essentially, from videos I saw, as she was being assaulted. I'm not sure why she got suspended. A video shared with the Star from November 15 shows a black, female student walking away from what seemed to be an exchange of words with another student. She's heard saying, "Don't say nothing unless you're gonna come say it to my face." Then a white, male student, who a couple of students told the Star was not involved with the previous argument, interjects telling her to shut the up. The female student turns around and starts walking in his direction. He charges toward her, shouting the N-word. He then pushes her, and she throws a punch. They both start swinging until the fight is broken up. Calls for more discipline, changes at school. Several high schoolers argued it was only the latest in a series of racist incidents they feel have happened without school leaders taking appropriate action. They are calling on school leaders to issue more serious discipline for discrimination and hate speech, plus make cultural changes so that students of color feel safe at school. District spokesman David Smith said in an email on Tuesday that it is a priority for the administration and the board of the Shawnee Mission School District that all our students are treated with respect and feel welcome in our schools, adding that the district is saddened by this incident. While we cannot share specific information about the incident or the district's response, the district wants to reassure the community it takes proactive measures to create a safe educational environment where every student feels a sense of belonging. This includes extensive work to support diversity, equity, and inclusion, Smith said. Unfortunately, children make big and small mistakes every day. We will continue to respond to those mistakes in an equitable and consistent manner, and our efforts to educate our students about how to treat each other will be ongoing. The district, Smith said, has a policy prohibiting any discrimination or harassment, including racial discrimination or bullying among students. The Student Code of Conduct prohibits the use of profanity, personally insulting remarks, attacks on a person's race, gender, nationality, religion, or behavior that disrupts learning or the safety of anyone in the environment. Racial slurs or hate speech are not specifically outlined in the Code of Conduct. The use of profane or obscene language is listed as a Level 2 offense in the student handbook, which could result in detention or a short-term suspension. Threats, fights and bullying are a more serious offense. Fighting results in a short-term out-of-school suspension, or for severe or repeated offenses, expulsion. The district notifies city police and school resource officers of any potential violation of the law, per its policy. Kansas City's Black Student Solidarity Network, a youth-led organization supporting students in Kansas and Missouri, has called on the district to expel the white student and issue an apology for suspending the girl. The group wants the district to revise its discipline policies to offer better protections for victims of racial hate speech. Black students must have the right to defend themselves without fear of unjust punishment, the group said in a social media post. Students also are asking for more cultural competency training for administrators, more transparent measures for holding students and staff accountable for racist behavior, and other changes to address systemic racism in their schools. This story was originally published November 29, 2023, 1:40 p.m.
So you see, if we don't know where we come from, then we're destined to return to such a time as before Brown v. Education, when we weren't even allowed to go to school where we can learn things that would help us in today's society that we still don't know. There's so much that we're missing out on. Imagine if you're a kid that's having problems at home. Any kind of problem that a kid would deem as being a problem, and then have to go to school and face this type of problem in your learning environment. And then you're expected to excel and be A1 students. And no matter how your, mom, your dad, your cousins, your grandparents, whomever you have in your life, no matter how they love you, you have to go to school and be subjected to this type of hatred. And yet, we say the children are our future. So Alicia said, but also some of these men are and square up with women as well. It's deeper. So it's something I missed before that. Alicia said he hitting her with the one hand. That's how us girls fight. Racial discrimination. Today we get it from all sides. Regina, question. I missed the part of this was high school or middle school. I don't know if it's high school or middle school, but they're 15-year-olds. So I don't know. Some states, the way they do their schools, some of them are considered middle school and some are considered high school. By the time I think you get 15, you're in high school in most school districts. She said, look like high school. Oh, I've ordered from them before. Okay, their stuff is nice. There's something else. Okay, I see from the article that it was high school. Yes, it's very sad. I bet you non-binary is. Racial comments really don't have much of a punishment. So true, Maria said. Regina said, I am going to be completely fair in my assessment of the situation and base it completely on the facts that were presented. Regina, I understand that. I'm just speaking in general with how schools have changed drastically. Regina says, so Alicia, no. Yeah, I would rather everybody, give their assessment based on the information presented, because definitely with the information that was presented, this young man needs to have the felony and he needs to go to prison. It's just that simple. Number one, words, of course, we say don't hurt anybody, although we're taught words kill. But it wasn't the words that bothered her because she was arguing with someone else. And she said, don't say it if you're not going to say it in my face. He just butted in. And then as she turned around and walked, he ran up to her and pushed her. And so she had to defend herself. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. If it's any other people in here that's typing, if you have an opinion, please share it with us because I would like to hear it. Before we move to our next story. 15 would be high school unless they were held back for a reason. Okay. Maria said, yep, he needs to be charged. Regina said, can you play the video again, please? Yes, ma'am, I can. Give me a moment. I'm going to play Roland's video. Let me stop it, and so I can start it. And I'm already, let me make sure. I know I sped it up. Yeah, to 125. Let me just put this here so we can see it. And see, I sped it up to 125. Okay, here we go.
On November 15, a black sophomore named Brianna Brown was the target. target of a racial slur and physical attack by another student at Shawnee Mission East in Kansas. Brown had confronted a separate student about using racial slurs, and moments later, a white male student told her to shut the F up and proceeded to yell more racial slurs at her.
Oh, wait. Don't say nothing unless you're going to come say to my face, because I'm not going to do it with you. Man, shut the fuck up. Oh, who's that? Me. What? What? Nigga, what? What? I'll get it there. Get it. Come on. Hey, somebody go get it. You swim first. You swim first. You swim first. What the fuck are you calling a nigga? What the fuck are you calling a nigga? You're not even talking to me. Oh, I'll call down. I'll call down.
The altercation led to a physical fight that left Brown with a broken nose and suspended from school. Brown sat down with KSHB to describe the ordeal.
Either I protect myself or I run away from it, or I get beat up and I don't know what else to do. So I chose to stand up for myself.
It really hurt my heart and made me mad. It hurt my heart for my daughter because I didn't want her to ever have to.
Shawnee Mission East students organized a walkout protest demanding justice for their classmate and expressing their frustrations with the district's handling of the incident. The Shawnee Mission School District provided a statement saying that they take proactive measures to create a safe educational environment for all students and that they respond to mistakes made by students in an equitable and consistent manner. And for more news, follow the Black Star Network, serving Black America and inspiring action. Black Star Network, your source of Black news. On November 15th.
Okay, there it is. Yeah, Alicia, I tell you, when things happen to us, and it's like that with, supposedly everything, if it's not documented, it didn't happen. Certainly in law. And you saw the signs where the children said, silence is discrimination. It's racism. Silence. That's acquiescence. When you see a wrong, and children are so very vulnerable and so honest to a degree. They learn bad behavior and how to make poor choices. A lot of that is taught. Yeah, it was his fault. He wasn't even in the original altercation that she had words with the other person. But the students coming together is what's beautiful. Show that there are more that care than don't. And that's what's beautiful. Wouldn't it be good to see adults take that same stance against bullying and harassment and lying, people just outright lying? Unfortunately, adults don't do that. But they say they teach their children right from wrong. All races marching for justice, that's major. And it's really all humans. Remember that. Because there's only one race, and that's the human race. It's all humans. We're divided by nationality, and ours was stolen and erased, or they're trying to erase it from the memory of our lives, but it's in our DNA. And that's why it's good to talk to the elders in your family, if you know of any. It's good to talk to elderly people, period, just to hear their experiences. Because if we allow them to keep doing what they're doing, the part that was done to us will never be known. It will never be known. And we spend so much time bickering with one another by design, but we don't have to keep it that way. And that's what the Kybalion is teaching us. We have got to learn how to deal with self so that we can deal with those outside of ourselves. I'm thinking Regina is typing because she says she doesn't type fast either. So it takes her a minute because I'm waiting patiently and eagerly to hear your response. But this is going to school while Asiatic. These are the obstacles that we face, not to mention in our schools where the predominance is the same and we're still fighting. For what reason? Okay, she said she had to red ball the tape again. Although ain't no need of me lying, I don't know what that means. Oh, you did? And I thought you did. I thought you did, child. I told you, I can tell them. I can tell a beautiful story. I could have sworn I seen you write that in there once. Uh-huh, that's funny. Uh-huh. As I said, I just had an awesome human conversation with an Asiatic woman for 10 minutes, like we knew each other for years, in line at Wingstop. Oh, okay. I don't even know if I know what that is. Okay, Regina. So Alicia say, we have fought against bullying relentlessly. We should be proud to be part of the few that really care. Yeah, we are. And guess what? One day more people are going to care. So this is how the term pioneer comes, grassroots. We just started it. But it's more people will feel the effects of being mistreated that's going to eventually be adult and say enough and walk away from craziness. It's nothing wrong with fun, humor. That's what we need in life. But again, we need that counterbalance. And that's where we as a people a lot miss out. We miss out on the counterbalance. And it's unfortunate. I've lost 15 subscribers so far. By which way, I don't know. By way of individuals actually leaving, or by way of the algorithm, or by way of just people. Regina said, my opinion, both students should be suspended. One, the black student could have kept walking away. She could have reported it to the school and filed a complaint against the student. Good deal. She could have done all of that, but I still don't think she deserved to be suspended. Number two, the white male student engaged in racial slurs and also ran up to meet the black female student to retaliate, to fight. Oh, we gonna bear with you. Take your time. We're right here. So Alicia said, well, Regina said, I have points and a limited space. Please bear with me. We're bearing with you, Regina. And so Alicia said, unfortunately, Regina, sometimes those emotions are hard to fight. No, it's nothing wrong with those emotions because we were just talking about rhythm and balance, right? But they didn't have a fight because of the words. They had the fight because he walked up and pushed her in her chest. And she decided to fight back. So Alicia said, I would have probably ended up with a broken nose too. Regina said, number three, the black female student also ran up to retaliate, fight the white male student due to the racial slurs of calling her the N-word. Maria said, yep, me too. Well, I didn't see her running, but I did see her walk. But better coping skills could have been used. I'm still learning, even as an adult. Alicia, that's most of the time when we really learn as an adult. And after we've been through a lot. Because remember, a lot of us grew up in an age, in a time that we were not allowed really to express emotions. And especially negative ones. If you had a negative thought or feeling, you better, keep it to yourself. That's the way most of us were reared. And anybody in the chat, feel free to, let us know because it really helps to, see how we all think. And, that's how you come on one accord or come to a consensus, whichever one. Regina, let us know when you're finished because we're going to move to the next story. The next story is when you're Asiatic, you better not have a flat because no telling what might happen. As in the case of this young man that I'm going to show next. And I'm going to show his story with him talking before I show Roland's story. Because I got his story off of Roland's channel as well. And I want you guys to hear from the young man first before I show you all the story. Because it's very, very disheartening when you see the countenance of this young man. It's just very hard to believe that, and he's probably not like this 24/7, but I truly believe that he was honestly being himself. Number 4, Regina said, emotions have gotten people into a lot of trouble. Unfortunately, the law does not work off of emotions. True that. Although there are sometimes sympathetic judges, juries are comprised of peers' emotions. That's true. Thank you, Maria, for the fair use copyright disclaimer. All right, Alicia, you're about to miss a great story. Check it out. See ya. Let's meet Micah Washington. We're going to meet Micah before we see his story. This is a full interview with the news station ABC 3340.
And so, are you aware that this has gone national? This video?
Yes, man. Like, I've been trying to actually just stay out of social media because, like, I don't like seeing people. Like, it just do something to me. Like, I just can't watch it. Like, me personally. Like, I can watch it, but, like, with the sound on, no, I can't do it.
So, take me back through what you remember. I mean, from what your attorney said, you were just simply out changing a tire near your home?
Yes, man. Like, I was on near my aunt's. I was going to pick up my little brother. I always go get him, like, every other weekend or whatever. So, but I had a baby shower, like, the next day, so I told him I was going to come together. So, when I finally made it down there, like, Gordo area coming into the reform, my tire had a real bad blowout. So I was trying to call my aunt, but like I couldn't get in touch with her. So I tried to get the car closest I could to her. So once I got there, I parked and I walked to her house or whatever. I left the car, went and got some tools, told her that I needed a ride to go get a tire or whatever. So then me, my brother, and my co-defendant walked back to the car. So once we got back to the car, I was on the ground changing the tire when the police officer pulled up. So when she pulled up, she was basically like, what you guys doing? We told her we're changing the tire. She checked out the tire or whatever. Then she she asked for IDs. So me personally, I was like, if this not a traffic stop, so why you need an ID? So, but I still gave it to her trying to be in compliance. So I gave her my ID and I'm still asking the same question, like, what's the purpose of you needing IDs? So that's when she finally feels some type of way or whatever. So she told me to go stand on the back of the car and I was like, I'm not being detained, so I don't have to do anything. So like, So basically it's like so once I told her that or whatever, she said, well, now you are. She grabbed me. Like I put my hands up or whatever. So I was standing like between the back door and the driver door, and I was trying to grab my phone so I could turn my camera on and record her. So like once I finally got my camera on, then she tased me the first time. She put her foot in my back on the ground.
So you fell down after being tased?
Yes, ma'am. I dropped
Face
my phone.
down?
So yes, ma'am. So she had me face down in the road first, like so I put my hands behind my back so she could start tasing me or whatever. So once she finally gave me the handcuffs, she gave me up off the ground. Well, before that, that's when I told my friend like go get my aunt. So he took off running like once he first started tasing me, and my brother still was standing there. So my brother's video started like once she got me off the ground into the handcuffs. So when she get me onto the car or whatever, I let her know like I got a gun on me, like so it won't go any farther than it did. So
Okay, so let's stop there. You got a legally carried gun.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So once she found the gun, so she made comment, oh yeah. I was like, what's the problem? Like basically like asked her why you saying that. She like she didn't want me to talk at all, basically. So when I asked her that, that's when she tased me again. So now I'm like, I don't know what's gonna go on, like like that. But like
Are you pretty nervous at that point?
Yeah, I was nervous. Like I was really like not really just nervous for myself, but like I was scared for the people that I was with. Like I don't really be thinking about myself. Like I be worried about the people that I be around, and that's my little brother. Like he got to watch this. Like like that's what really just bothered me the most about the whole thing.
And how old's your brother?
How old? He's like 17.
17.
Yeah.
So he was recording. Were you aware he was recording?
Like I didn't know he was recording until I like actually leaned on the car and like I looked up, and like when she put me in the back of the car, that's when his video kind of like shut off because she came and snatched him up and put him in the car like up by a bridge.
So most people have never been tased. It's pretty painful.
Yeah, for real. Then it was raining outside. Like it was rain. It had pretty good drizzle going on outside.
And so at what point did you find out they were charging you with trafficking fentanyl?
I didn't know I was in charge with trafficking fentanyl until I actually went to court the next day because they wouldn't let me make no phone calls or nothing at all. When I first got to the jail, they just told them we're gonna put them on no bond and don't put any charges on them until we come back and tell y'all what they actually put. But they was trying to say they was holding me on theft of property and getting me to the jail. But I never been arrested in Pickens County other than, well, I wasn't arrested then, but the only thing that ever happened to me in Pickens County was a speeding over 25. And I was stopped by a state trooper then. That was like 2021.
Gotcha. And so they had searched your pockets. As your attorney said, there was no baggies, there was no substance. So was this fentanyl charge just made up?
Yeah, it had to be because I didn't have any drugs on me at all. The only thing I had in my pocket was my gun and my phone.
Gotcha. So where do you go from here?
I really don't know. I just really want justice, honestly. Like, I want her to get what's really coming to her, like on the legal side. Like, yeah.
So had you ever had any bad interactions with Reform or Pickens County? Any problems with law enforcement? Like
that was my first time ever. I'm actually from the Pickens County area. Like I usually be down there a lot. Yes. So
gotcha.
I never really had no bad blood
at all. So and how are you feeling mentally, physically?
I mean, like I'm okay, but like when I'm alone, like I sit and think about it. Cause I mean, like I try to act okay around the people around, but like at the same time, like I'm really not just okay for real. Cause like it really is traumatizing for real. Like I don't even know how to feel about the police no more. For real.
And so you didn't have any ill will towards police or anything? No reason.
I actually had like friends in law enforcement and stuff like that.
Has anyone apologized to you?
No, ma'am.
Do you think you deserve one?
Yeah, I think I do. I would love an apology.
So do you think this was racially motivated?
I think it was like just abuse of authority, if anything. But like, yeah, that could play a part too.
And so, when people watch the video, oh, he should have complied. He should have done more to work with the police. Do you feel you pretty much did everything within your rights and everything?
Yes, ma'am. Because I was still kind of like I was still respectful like through the whole video, other than being tased. Like I was still yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, all that. Like.
And when you watch her back and hear her voice, that's a lot of something that people have really zeroed in on to say that it sounded like she was enjoying what she was doing.
Yeah, that would have seemed like to me, like she was getting a thrill out of it. Because like when she got me into the back of the police car and my brother video went out, she was like, she was basically like, yeah, your bitch ass ain't so tough now. Like she was like, we're gonna enjoy watching this video. Yeah, like she said, we're gonna enjoy going back watching this video.
From what you could tell, did she have a body cam on? Was there a dash cam or anything?
Oh no, when I got into her car, it wasn't nothing plugged up. Like it wasn't even a computer in there, camera, nothing. Like it was just wires. And I don't really think she had a badge cam on either.
Now, your attorney said that he has, since this has happened, heard from other people saying they had a bad incident with this particular officer. Are you hearing anything like that in the community?
I done heard like of a couple incidents like where they had a guy dead in the back seat after he's been tased in the heart, like things like that. But like, yeah, they said like she had a couple complaints like to move departments a couple times.
So when you think back on it, do you realize this could have escalated even further?
Yeah, I think like if it really wasn't a phone out there, I think it would have went farther. I feel like it could have went farther. Like my main concern was her like doing something to my brother when she had me detained.
So at what point did she realize he was recording
I don't think she ever knew
at all?
Yeah, I don't think she ever knew he was recording.
So you've got to go. You live in the area. Are you worried of any repercussions?
Not really, cause I stay up in Tuscaloosa area. Like my brother, like my aunt, them like really for that. Like I'm really worried about him, honestly. Yeah.
So you're going to stay out of the area?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So if there wasn't a video, do you think he would still be sitting in jail?
Yeah, I think I still have a $500,000 because that's just Pickens County.
So when you walked in the court, that's when you first heard you had to charge him a $500,000 bond?
Yes, man. That's when I first heard all my charges. Like I never knew what I was going to get booked for when I went to jail. Like I had no charges at all. It just said it was blank with no bond.
And so you've never been a drug dealer. There'd be no reason for them to suspect any of this.
No,
You're a
ma'am.
good kid.
Yes, ma'am. Like overall.
Like any other 20-year-old, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, again, kind of big picture. I mean, a lot of people are going to watch this and just like, especially a person of color, be afraid of police. What do we need to do to make this right in this country and quit having these incidents? It's like every week now.
I think we need to hold the people like higher and more accountable. Like so they were like, I feel like we should hold them more accountable for their actions. Cause they like I just seen like a lot of incidents where like the cop just get leave with pay, like or like maybe they may settle the settle the lawsuit, but the officer never get anything done to them. Like they was free at home to do whatever they want to do.
So does this officer need to be fired?
Yes, I feel she needs to be fired.
And do you think it's an individual type problem or is this like countywide?
I feel like it's countywide because I think they work together. Yeah, it's very it's countywide because they haven't even spoke on the situation yet at all.
Did you happen to see the coverage yesterday also about the football player?
Oh yes, ma'am. I saw a little bit of it. Yes, ma'am.
You've seen that as well. So that was the same county, the same jail.
Oh yes, ma'am.
Were you treated okay once you were in jail?
Yes, ma'am. It was okay. Like only thing, like basically, like it was just hard for me to get a call home, like let my mom know I was okay.
And so, kind of again, when you play this back in your mind, are you kind of even more afraid that this could have ended differently?
Yeah, like for real, like that video really traumatizing for real. Like I can't watch that video. Like I don't even like really think about it. Honestly, like all the Facebook posts stuff. Like I try to stay off social media.
Mm-hmm. Was there anything else you want to add? I mean, what would you say to this officer if she was here?
I don't think I say anything. I don't want to be around it. I don't want to be around it at all, honestly.
Mm-hmm. But again, do you think you're going to look at police differently now if you ever have another encounter?
Yeah, like I don't see, like me personally, like I always been the type of person like don't stop until I feel safe. Like, and I'm actually be real big on that now. Like I feel like they should actually pass a law to where people shouldn't have to stop for the police until they actually feel safe enough to like stop and let them do their job.
Getting to like a public place?
Yes, ma'am. And around people.
So again, anything else you want to add?
No, ma'am.
You getting a lot of support from friends and family?
Yes, ma'am. Like they try to keep my head strong.
Okay. And what do you hope to come of this lawsuit?
I just hope to get like justice for me, not just for me, for like the other families that had to go through things, and then like they start doing things more differently, honestly, in that area.
And so again, if there wasn't this videotape, what do you think situation you'd be in right now?
I'd be facing probably federal charges right now for real, the trafficking and all that.
So do you think they just manufactured some evidence, or how did they come up with this fentanyl?
I really don't know where the fentanyl came from.
Because in the video, you can see you're searched and there's nothing there.
Yes, ma'am. And she said she grabbed a 7-gram baggie out of my pocket, and I never had any drugs on me at all.
All right. Well, thank you again for talking to us.
Okay. Now that's Micah. Now wait till we see the video that I'm about to play. Regina said this young man and how he answered the questions in this interview is, I think those pump fists, I think. I could hear how the reporter was trying to lead him into saying certain words, phrases, by asking the same question. Yes, Regina, but he did not. He stayed in his person. So you know he's got to be a pretty decent young man. Now let's just see. Let's just see what happened to this young man. And it's very important that we pay attention to what happened. Okay. That's a hand clap. Okay. Very important that we pay attention to the beginning of this video. Okay. So Roland named this "Changing Tire While Black. Handcuffed man tased by laughing cop in very disturbing video." And again, this is fair use, and this is a very disturbing video. So here we go. This is Roland Martin.
The black man who was handcuffed and tased in the back by a West Alabama police officer plans to file a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the department. The video of Micah Washington's arrest has gone viral on social media. Folks are calling for the firing of the officer and charges against reformed Alabama police officer Dana Elmore for what took place on December 2nd. That took place in Pickens County, about 40 miles west of Tuscaloosa. Joining us right now is Leroy Maxwell Jr., the attorney representing Micah Washington. Leroy, glad to have you here. So I want to do this here. I want to play the video, but I need you to explain to us what happened before this. Now, first and foremost, folks who haven't seen this, this is the video that has gone viral of this officer tasing Micah Washington after he's already handcuffed and he's compliant.
Right there on the front of the car.
No, I wanted the audio up.
Street.
I ain't doing shit, bro. I got gun right there. I'm not doing that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying, what you saying? Oh, yeah, bro. Oh, my God.
Fuck out.
Okay. Down. Oh, my fuck. Oh, my God.
It ought to be open.
You want it again? Shut the fuck up. You was big and bad. Shut your bitch ass up.
Wow. Leroy, first and foremost, who was shooting the video?
Right. Thank you so much for having us. That was Micaiah's younger brother, Shaquem, who was shooting the video. There were three of them that were pulled over, or not pulled over. They were on the side of the road trying to repair a tire on a vehicle. And fortunately, his brother whipped out his camera and we saw what we saw. But leading up to that, it was just as bad.
So they were changing a tire.
So y'all heard what all she said, right?
Yeah, they were changing the tire, and as far as I know, being black and changing the tire is not illegal, not yet anyway. But that's exactly what they were doing, changing the tire on the side of the road. Officer came up on them, asked what they were doing. Micaiah made it clear, we're obviously changing the tire here. There's nothing illegal that we're doing at all. Why do you want my ID? She demanded the ID without asking or articulating any sort of criminal activity. Eventually, Micaiah did comply with giving her his ID. But he decided he was going to take out his phone and record, as everyone should do, film the police. As soon as she saw that and he hit the button to record, she immediately tased him the first time.
So I'm trying to, okay. So
that was just the first time. And then you're right, what you're saying is the second tasing. And so
he got tased twice.
He got tased twice, right. And so she tased him when he took out his phone to start recording, and he went to the ground. You see his phone beside him. She handcuffs him. And then you see his brother start filming as he's being lifted up off the ground after he's been handcuffed and being taken to the front of her hood. And that's when the sadistic assault and battery occurred at that point.
All right. So then you hear the language she uses against him. So we hear that. Then he gets arrested. Now, here's what I really find to be interesting. Walk us through, for people who don't know, walk us through what they charged him with.
All right, so this is where it gets wild. All right, so they charge him with a few things. They charge him with trafficking cocaine laced with fentanyl, an ex-felon in possession of a firearm, possession of marijuana, resisting arrest, obstruction of government operation. All right.
Okay. So let's walk through each one of those.
Yeah.
So what was the first one again?
Trafficking. You know what you see in the movies, all that other jazz.
So he was trafficking laced with fentanyl. Okay.
Cocaine laced with fentanyl.
Now we're watching the video here. So where they claim this cocaine was?
So according to what officers told him when he was over in booking in the jail, that the officer pulled a bag of cocaine laced with fentanyl out of his pocket right before she pulled the gun out of his pocket. And so we see in the video
right here.
That's the problem. She wasn't aware of the video.
So the gun. Hold on. She wasn't aware. So how close were they standing? She wasn't where they were shooting.
So he was a little bit farther away. He was zoomed in. The brother was zoomed in on the video, but she was not aware that the brother was filming.
So I'm watching the video. We play the video right now. She pulls the gun out of his right pocket. At no point does she reach into his left pocket. At no point does she reach back into his pocket. She literally pulls nothing out of his pocket except the gun.
Exactly.
So where do these drugs come from?
That's what we want to know. And so, of course, he gets bonded in on a $500,000 bond because he's in there for trafficking. No way he can make that bond. No way his family could get him out. It's absolutely absurd. But then the video comes out. His brother then lets the video out, and it hits the airwaves hard. It streams, it goes viral. And then all of a sudden, conveniently, the state moves to dismiss the charges for trafficking the fentanyl. They claimed that, there was a road test done and it came back as positive as fentanyl. Further testing showed that it was not fentanyl. I've done this sort of work for over a decade in criminal defense and civil rights. I've never once seen a forensic test come back on toxicology that fast outside of a field test. But apparently they did more testing, came back as not fentanyl, and they dropped that charge conveniently. In addition, the felon charge, ex-felon in possession of a firearm, that charge just disappeared. I didn't see a motion to dismiss it. I didn't see a judge or an order to dismiss it. That charge just up and vanished in smoke.
Wow.
And
now,
so,
here's the deal. Is he an ex-felon?
Absolutely not.
Never
been charged, arrested.
How's a man charged as being an ex-felon when he's not an ex-felon?
That's exactly our point. They, in a hustle and a bustle to try to come up with charges, they just start throwing charges at them. How do you go through the process of deciding someone is a felon enough to put felony possession of an ex-felon in possession of a firearm charge against someone? That's a process that you have to go through to ensure they're a felon. Clearly, they either didn't go through the process, didn't think through the process, or they just threw charges up against him, hoping it would stick. And of course, that charge is no longer there because he was not a felon whatsoever. And it's our expectation that the remaining charges will ultimately be dismissed as well.
So, I mean, what's astounding here is it's just, man, just pile it on. And we see this. We see this happen all the time to African Americans. And let's just be real. If this video does not exist, first of all, now this officer, does she wear a body camera?
Now, looking at the video that the brother took, it looks like I couldn't tell if she was wearing a body cam or if that was just
a radio or something.
Microphone, a radio, right? Exactly. I couldn't tell, but we do know from Micaiah when he was in the vehicle, he said the dash cam was completely unplugged. He saw wires hanging from it, but nothing was plugged in. And so we're not aware if she was wearing a body camera or not. But I imagine if she had been wearing a body cam, that function would have, been turned off or just not available. Thank God his brother was filming, or else he'd be still behind bars, from my calculation, on a $500,000 bond, rotting away.
So, okay, all right. So the police department charged him with these offenses. Then when it goes to the DA, they realize we got a problem, and so they just start dropping the stuff left and right.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. They realize
Houston, we have a problem.
We got a problem. We're getting our timeline together. We know even when he was initially booked in the jail, we have recordings of the family talking to the jailers. They said that he was only there for a failure to appear for a traffic ticket in another city. They didn't know about any other charges. And then an hour later, all these charges come flooding in, and then the video gets released. And now they're slowly backtracking and pulling away these charges. Once I believe the powers to be in the DA's office is realizing what's going on here. I think you got a situation where you got a road cop who's used to being a cowboy, cowgirl out there. getting away with whatever she wants to get away with. Unfortunately, the brother was filming, and she ain't getting away from it this time.
I mean, what's still stunning to me is when you look at those charges, and I'm gonna go back to the drug one, okay? So she claimed their drugs, okay? Then there was a field test. Now, did the brothers ever stop recording? How long were they out there? Were they present, and were they shooting the entire time from the moment help arrived and he's put in the car and taken away?
No, they didn't shoot the entire time, but there were multiple officers that showed up, and we believe at least one of those officers is probably going to testify or speak truthfully as far as what happened, because Micaiah and his brother will tell you there was never any sort of field test done. There was no white substance or powdery substance or whatever, fentanyl, crystals, whatever. There was nothing that was being tested whatsoever in the field. There were no drugs on his person at all. We don't even know where the marijuana charge came from. And so while there was no video of the entire incident, because at some point the brother put his phone down once he saw an officer coming towards his direction. We don't have a full recording of everything that happened. We do know from eyewitness account there was absolutely no field test that was done. And even in the state's motion to dismiss, it says that a field test was done prior to the arrest. And we know that the incident with him being on the ground and handcuffed, that all happened within a matter of minutes of the officer first arriving on the scene. So we don't know where there was time to do a field test. We don't see any drugs. We don't know about any drugs. And now conveniently, the drug charges are gone.
Even though the charges are gone, can you as his attorney, and maybe not within the context of the criminal case, maybe you can do this in the context of the civil case, can you say, produce for me these so-called drugs?
Man, we were licking our chops. We were licking our chops. I'm not going to lie. Not only do you have excessive force claims, not only do you have assault and battery claims, you have deliberate indifference, you have malicious prosecution, you have abuse of process, abuse of power claims here. And so we plan on filing our lawsuit within the next 30 days, and we're going to use that subpoena power to demand all the evidence. We want to review, examine all physical evidence, where it came from, the chain of custody, everything. We want it. And, you know, we hate that there are criminal charges right now, but trust me, we're going to take advantage of that too, because criminal charges provide subpoena power as well. And so while they're around, I don't know how much longer they're going to exist. I'm sure we'll be filing motions to dismiss, but while they do exist, we're going to take advantage of it and use every methodology we can under the law to make sure we get answers and that the right people are held accountable.
It is just, I mean, the reason all of this is stunning, and I say all the time, praise God for this.
Amen.
Because one, again, if it's actually true that the dash cam stuff was unplugged, this is the problem we've seen in Chicago, where cops have destroyed dash cam videos, where cops turn their body cameras off because they don't want themselves being recorded. And so, absolutely, if his brother's not there shooting, I mean, their story, how they frame it, becomes the truth. And it's just, that's simply another black man claiming he didn't do anything, who just shut up and go to prison.
Yep, shut up, go to prison. And I can't even imagine, you know, I talk to my clients every single day, ones all throughout the state and the Southeast, that are telling me these sort of things are happening, and we're fighting day in and day out trying to prove it. And so I just thank God and God's good timing that, you know, the video footage was there, that his brother was there, because he'd just be another brother behind bars, waiting 2-3 years for a trial to come around, because there's no way his family is going to make a $500,000 bond. And so right now it's time to get him justice. We're going to turn this narrative around and get accountability.
Where is Micah right now?
So Micah's at home right now. And so he was in our office a couple hours ago. Thankfully he's home, and he's going through it. He's naturally a positive, bright, optimistic, you know, he feeds, gives energy to everyone. And I told him, don't let this rob you of it. But right now he's dealing with the first time of his life, depression, dealing with this traumatic incident where he goes in dark rooms and he just wants to sleep and not come out. He's afraid. He's worried. He fears for his family that lives still in that county. Will there be some sort of retaliation? He's going through it right now mentally, but we're going to get him right.
You talked about obviously depression. Is he still suffering any physical ailments as a result of being tased?
You know, when we got him out of jail, he was still in the T-shirt with the taser holes in the back of his shirt.
Man.
So yeah, he's bruised up. It's tender to the touch. It's a little swelling going on. We got him treated at a medical center. And so physically, he's still going through it. Every time he turns, every time he sits in a chair, lays down, he can feel it. And it just, that memory floods back to the moment where he thought he was going to die. You know, it was one thing the first time being tased, but when he was on the trunk of the car, still saying, yes, ma'am, still saying, no, ma'am, being the polite young man that he is. And she is getting off, telling him, you want some more, calling him everything you could think of, and continuing to tase him in the back. It might have lasted for 10 seconds, but for him, it felt like it was 30 days. He was there forever, and he felt every last jolt of energy.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
Leroy, anything else?
No, again, thank you all for covering this, bringing attention to it. We're out here in the trenches, often in the Black Belt here in Alabama, and this happens all too often in these small counties. Pickens County is a former sundown lynching-style county where some of the most horrible atrocities still occur. And bringing attention to this, putting light on this, means the world to the citizens of Pickens County and to everyone here in Alabama, so we appreciate it.
All right, Leroy Maxwell Jr., we appreciate it. Thanks a lot. The black man.
Okay, there you have it. So what do you guys think? Thank you, Sister T. I appreciate you. Okay, so let's see what you guys are saying. Regina say, I saw part of the video. I seen enough. I cannot watch abuse and racial injustice multiple times. Not watching. Asatar said, at Regina. I saw it too. It broke my heart. Change in the tire while black. Yeah, I told Asatar I'm so happy that didn't happen to him. He had problems with his tires. You know, it's just a sin and a shame when you can't even change tires. And then they tell us we need to have the talk. What talk can you have with a child? And you've taught them right from wrong. You taught them to be respectful. What talk can you have up against somebody who's determined to do what she did? Regina said, in my opinion, this is deep-rooted generational racism. That particular area in Alabama, I can guarantee, is infested with ignorance, brainwashing, and propaganda against anything other than. Yeah, I feel the same way, and I feel the same way about what happened at the school as well. I can only imagine how many other people she's done this to, Maria says. Yeah, they said it sounds like quite a few. And did y'all hear them say she was reformed? She was reformed from what? What was she reformed from? That was awful how she did him. Yeah, it was. I mean, just totally ridiculous. And this is the kind of stuff that's in 3 different parts of the country. Well, 2 for sure, because we looked at Kansas and then we looked at Alabama. So 2 different parts. I look at so much different stuff till, I see this kind of stuff all the time, and it's just mind-blowing, to be honest, to see how these people do. It's very painful, especially having sons that that you've taught them, and they pretty much live the way you've taught them. And how do you combat something like that? And then you have men, or I would say males, they're not men, that's on this YouTube, an opportunity we have to make more money than we could have ever had, more entrepreneurs than we could have ever had, and they attack us women to keep us from making money. And unfortunately, the herd goes along with the craziness. How do you stop a train from wrecking? The only thing you can do is teach truth. But you can't stop people from doing what they do. It's mind-blowing. The conversations need to be had. More people need to see these type videos. And a lot of people, like Regina, can't stand the pain of seeing this type of abuse. But so many people don't even know this type of abuse really still exists. They think that everything is beautiful and we're free and we can do what we want to do and say what we want to say, mainly to each other. That young man was changing a tire. And then they get very, 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 very angry. And I think this is anybody that is rogue and holds a badge. When you have some degree of knowledge of what they can and can't do to you, they want you to believe that just because they pull up and say something, you're bound to say something back. No, you're not. We have a constitution for our state, and then we have a constitution for the United States. Regina says, for your information, racism against my Black people have always been frustrating, to put it lightly. This has always been, and the fight for justice and racial equality never ends. What saddens me is my people. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Because at one time, Regina, I couldn't even watch and didn't want to know Black history. Had no idea of what I was missing. And perhaps emotionally, I couldn't have handled the truth. You know, a lot of people say they want truth, but most people can't handle the truth. Although we learned in polarity that all truths are half truths, and all truths come in degrees. All things come in degrees where emotions are concerned. How Blacks treat each other, etc. This is why I always say, know your history. You definitely saying some good stuff, because my daddy used to teach us a lot, but I didn't understand the things that he would be saying to us. I want to take that down is what I'm trying to do. And he didn't really explain it to us to where I have it today. And now, of course, I'm not able to have the physical conversation with him where, you know, he can talk back to me, but I love sharing with him that I have a better understanding of what he was trying to teach us as he was teaching us as we grew. A lot of people, you know, Billie Holiday, I was reading up on her not too long ago and learning about how they really mistreated her in spite of her, you know, drug addiction. But a part of the drug addiction was because of what she stood for. And when she made the song Strange Fruit, that really pushed them over the edge. And the strange fruit was us hanging from the poplar tree. That happened after we were supposedly emancipated. That's when all the lynching started. It wasn't so much when we were enslaved, so to speak. It was after we were supposedly freed. That was a way of them getting back. Yeah, Maria, there's so much out here that we as a people need to be concentrating on. And again, there's nothing wrong with humor and laughter. It's fun, it's beautiful, and we need it. We need laughter. But we need more people sitting down, coming together, devising a way to deal with not only a system of oppression, but a people that are oppressed and refuse to come out of their current state. Because a lot of this, whether we know it or not, is a choice. And a lot of people are choosing to be ignorant and choosing. And you have a right to choose that way. You really do. You have that right inherently. But at what cost? You say you may not have a baby you love today, but one day you may have a baby that you love, 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 and you want to see something different for that baby. And it only takes one person, but of course, we know we need more than one working together toward a common goal, and that is equality for us all. We elected education as opposed to liberation, and therefore we got further and further away from education and more indoctrinated and more restraints put upon us. And we don't even realize that. And then we have grown people, or I would say immature people, following you around wherever you go. For what reason? At some point, it has to stop. Regina said, for your information, remember all lessons are not written in books, especially the ones that are written in falsehoods and propaganda to distract and to reinforce, oppress brainwashing. Ignorance is not bliss. No, it is not at all. It is not. There is no way ignorance can bring joy. For you know not what you know not. And then most people don't want to hear it. They refuse to listen. But that don't keep us from telling it. So for those of us who's willing, we got to keep on telling it. We got to keep on telling it, keep on telling it. We got to do our part. It's a MUST must. We got to keep doing it. Do anybody have anything they want to share before we say our good nights? Because I think I just about did my 2 hours. I still have the book on the breakdown of the Black family, and we're going to start on that. We're almost through with our book. And once we finish the book, we're going to most definitely start on our breakdown. And what amazed me about it when I started reading the book, and the book is actually government statistics, was how a lot of us were put into the foster care system. And that was just devastating to me to read about. But then if you listen to a lot of people that's on these apps on social media, a lot of them were introduced to some type of fostering. They didn't have their mom. Many didn't have their dads. And they were in some type of system. And I mean, apart from the family. So it's very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you again, Maria, for dropping the link to the book, and that's the Kybalion. If you all want to go and listen to the audio book, the gentleman that's reading is a professional reader, and he's continuous reading, and he's very smooth. He does it in about 4 hours, I believe. You can get your pen and paper and take some notes and look up some words. But it's very, very well worth it to grab hold to these principles and start trying to recalculate your mind to follow those principles. I think I've said enough. Regina said, I've noticed the more you speak knowledge and don't go along with foolishness disguised as fun that could hurt your own people, the brainwashed and fools will attack you. Fools follow fools. Yeah, that's what happens. It's just like, we went from when I first started from 40 to maybe 60 people. I barely got over 60 people. And now to be under 10 people. And it's ha ha ha, 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 funny, funny, funny. And what changed? The herd's mentality changed. They followed the leader, and the leader is somebody who's leading them right over a cliff. I can't even go into other chats without them coming and trolling in other people's chats. It's just utterly ridiculous. But yet I rise and I stand on my square while they all think they're standing on business. They're not standing on any business. I can guarantee you that. Like I said, I wore my t-shirt today to honor Dewberry, Just Do It, in Charleston for what they're doing. And no matter how people try to stop it, they're not going to. Like I stated, in one day, Charleston made YouTube history. He and Cam. And nobody has refuted it. And that is, in one day, they had 1.2 million views. And people who may have never given him a thought of the day, they were able to meet Charleston White. And that's the beautiful thing about it. And whatever happened, real or imagined, whatever happened, it's going to be okay. This word is going to go forward. Regina said, everything is not a joke. A lot of things can be disguised as a joke, all along tearing down and destroying, keeping people in ignorance. The go along to get along, aka the followers. So true. My daddy always taught us, if you don't use your mind, then somebody will take your own mind and use it against you. And that's why you have to truly think for yourselves. You really do. And thank you, Maria. Maria shared the video. She has her community wall now, and she knows how to use it. And so we're real happy about that. And of course, we all know that Asator has his channel, and he's doing fabulously well. And we're all excited about that. And I'm sure he's in here, in and out. But he's preparing to do his thing. And we're all excited for him in the way that only he can do. But I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. We're going to come back Wednesday and we're going to go into causation. And we're going to keep on going till we get to gender. And that will be the end. And then we're going to keep on talking about us putting the word out. And hopefully, maybe others will join us. Maybe they won't. But we're going to just keep forging forward, however it goes. It's worth it to me. I was told if you do what you love, you'll never have to work a day in your life. Well, I worked for 42 years, and now I'm just doing what I love. After he's in the mountains. And I know what that's like, so be careful. And I'm going to get ready to close. We're going to play my favorite. The children are our future. And we got to teach them well. And so hopefully, someone will catch the replay. Thank you, Regina. I will continue for as long as I can. Long as I have breath in my body and some kind of sense in my head. Sometimes I don't know if it's all there or not. But long as I think I have a little sense, then I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And on that note, I'm going to get ready to leave the Tiger's Den and bid you all a good night. Goodbye. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us who we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone to fulfill my needs. A lonely place to be. So I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I failed, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of takes you to a lonely place, find yourself in love.
you.